What's going on, guys? So today, if you clicked on this video, we're talking about mindset, man. What is mindset, why it's important, and how do we improve our mindset? Mindset affects everything that we do, whether we know or not. If you don't believe me, let's get into it. We're going to talk about it. So first off, I got my little notes here. This might be a little long. I wrote down some notes that I really want to talk about and kind of understand the impact of this stuff. But first off, we're going to start with the definition of mindset. This is straight from Google. Collection of beliefs, attitudes, and thought patterns that shape how you perceive the world and yourself. Keyword: shape and perceive. So when we thinking of shape, we thinking of form, right? And if something can be formed, that means something can be torn apart and reformed, right? So if something can be shaped, that means something can be molded, something can be sculpted, something can be put together and taken apart. So when we're talking about a collection of beliefs, attitudes, and thought patterns that shape or mold or form how you perceive the world and yourself. So perceive, when you perceive something, like how they say perception is reality, when you perceive something, it doesn't necessarily make it reality, but it makes it your reality. So when you perceive something to be right or wrong, that means in your reality, this is right and this is wrong. When you perceive something to be a gray space, that means that it could be right or wrong. When you perceive something to be done a correct way, incorrect way, that's based on based on either what you've learned or what you see is correct or incorrect, right? So if we can shape or we can form how we perceive the world and ourselves, that means we can reshape or reform how we perceive the world and ourselves. And that is mindset. Mindset is a collection of beliefs, attitudes, and thought patterns that you can shape or reshape or reform that comes from how you perceive the world and yourself, in essence, right? So now that we're understanding what mindset is, we have to understand why it's important and how to prove it. And it shows that it's important because this shapes how you see the world. This shapes how you believe yourself. So if you see the world as always hard, always this, I can't do that, I can't do that, or it's impossible, then that's how you're going to see yourself as a person who's limited. You know what I'm saying? And what they're able to do. And I'm not necessarily saying for you to believe that anything is possible, but I want you to believe that what you think is not possible is possibly possible. I know that's a lot, but I want you to challenge yourself to think maybe the thing that I think is impossible might actually be possible. Okay? So that's what we want to think about. That is important because that's going to shape how you perceive the world and if you can do it or not. So by the end of this video, I want you to know that you can do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Or I want you to at least challenge yourself to believe that maybe I can do the things that I'm trying to do or that I want to do. Maybe it is possible for me to make that video. Maybe it is possible for me to become that chef. Maybe it's possible for me to become that TV anchor, that television host, that content creator. Maybe it is possible. That is where, instead of maybe it's not possible, maybe it is possible. Or instead of saying that it's impossible, I'll never be able to do that, what if it is possible? What if I can do that, right? So here's how we improve that. So you watch what you listen to and you limit your inputs. So what does that mean? So for example, when we talk about, people talk about, oh, the kids, it's the music, it's in the music, it's all affecting in the music and the movies, they're desensitized and all this stuff, right? And even though sometimes it might seem like those are extremes, what they're saying, the point is valid, right? Because if you listen to aggressive music, sometimes, bro, when you listen to, the Jeezys, the Young Boys and all these people, you get hype. It brings out a certain energy. Just like when you're in the gym and you're listening to workout music, you get hype. It brings out a certain energy. Just like when you're listening to like Rod Wave or sadder music, it kind of brings your mood down. It brings about a certain energy for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever kind of thought about why when you're sad, you want to listen to sad music? Because it kind of reinforces that mood or allows you to get that mood out, right? So you have an emotional diet and you have a physical diet. What you consume can or will consume you. So if you're a person that's always listening to negative things, then you're probably going to be negative. If you're a person that's always caught up in gossip, then what you see or what your beliefs are can be formed about gossip. So if you're a person who always listens to negative or toxic relationship podcasts, you can believe that men always ain't this and women always ain't that, because that is what your beliefs and your attitudes and thought patterns are becoming, because they're shaped by the way that you perceive the world, right? So you have an emotional diet, you have a physical diet. What you consume will consume you. So monitoring what you're listening to. You ever been on social media and you're scrolling, and sometimes the more you scroll, the more your mood comes down? Or you remember when you were inspired to do this thing when you got on social media, and then you got distracted, and then now you don't have the energy no more, and now you don't want to do it no more, and now you don't think it's as good anymore. This is why mindset is important, because if you had a right mindset, you know, okay, I have to kind of control whatever my inputs is, because it's affecting how, if I think I can do something, it's affecting how I feel about myself. It's, you know, you're comparing yourself even when you don't mean to compare yourself. It's easy to start comparing yourself on social media. You do it as soon as you get in the app. You see somebody with a house, a car, and you're like, man, what are they doing? Why can't I do that? Does it make sense what I'm saying? So this is how mindset is shaped and formed, and that's one of the ways that you improve it. You have to guard your mind. You have to guard your mind. One thing that I do when I'm at work is I listen to podcasts and stuff about things that I want to know and things that'll boost my mood. I'm driving for 9-10 hours a day, delivering packages to this person, to that person, this house to that house, here, wherever I'm at. And by the third hour, man, you're tired. Your mind's tired. Your mind's drained. And you need to have like a strong mental. And so sometimes when I'm drained and different things like that, I'll talk to friends. They might keep me going. But if somebody's got a negative, you know, having a negative mood, that'll bring my mood down. So sometimes I listen to podcasts that inspire me. You know, I listen to motivational podcasts. And for some sort of reason, once I listen to that, I'm able to move a lot quicker. I'm able to get through my route a lot faster. I'm more focused on what I'm doing and less about how I feel, right? So that's the first point. The second point is find people or creators who do what you do. So just like how I was talking about me, you know, watching podcasters and, you know, listen to certain things that I like to listen to. I'm sorry, I want to make sure my light was right. I feel like it was getting dark. But anyways, felt like the light was getting dark, but I want to, I don't know. Sorry. Find people who create or do what you want to do. So if you consume somebody, you know, take what you need. So a lot of times about, like when I'm listening to podcasts and stuff like that, sometimes we can get caught up in everything that a creator is doing. Like say that we got this YouTuber we've been watching or listening to for years, and he's like, man, I want to get there, but it just seems like it's so much. You know, one thing that I do is I listen, but I don't overconsume. So even though we're watching our inputs and watching what we listen to, we also have to be mindful of how much of the inputs that we take in. So it's the same thing with social media. Like I can find creators that I want on social media, but I'm like, man, I want to do that. How do they do that? And that takes away from whatever I might need. So I take whatever I need from them. I don't overconsume. I only take what I need right now. So I might find inspiration for ideas, but you also have to understand that you don't have to do whatever those ideas are exactly the way that they do it. You don't have to perform it exactly the way that they perform it. So take what you need from them right now for inspiration or ideas, or, you know, something that's going to make you think, okay, let me jot that down. Let me jot that down. But you don't have to take everything. Just take what you need right now for you. Okay. And that will help you also. It's like creating your own path. You know what I mean? You take something from this person, you take something from this person, you take a brick from here, you take a brick from here, and you start creating your own path brick by brick. You don't try to take their path, tear everything off that they do, and then put it in front of you to walk their path. You take a brick here, take a brick there, take a brick there to form your own path. So that's what you want to do. Number 3, you want to listen to yourself, right? So that can come from like silent meditating or taking time for yourself. You want to listen to yourself. Why? Why do I want to listen to myself? Because your best ideas are going to come from you. Everything is inside of you. Most things are inside of you. Some things you have to take from the outside and filter through the inside, right? You can be inspired by others, but everything is within you. If you overconsume or take too much outside noise, it will taint your vision. So you have to find what supports your vision and leave everything else. So what I mean by that is sometimes if I'm too consumed in what this creator does, I'm like, I gotta be just like them. I want to be just like them. I need my videos to sound like them. I need to start talking like them. I need to start acting like them. It's gonna water down whatever your gift is. It's gonna taint whatever your vision is for yourself. It's gonna taint whatever the vision is that you have, that you need to put out into the world the way that you need to put it out into the world. So you have to listen to yourself. Sometimes if it's those ideas that you want to say, man, okay, now we changed our mindset from I don't know if I can do that to I can do that. So it's whenever you having, like, for example, you know, when you get that moment where you feel inspired, like, oh man, let me make this video, and then you get on social media and you start scrolling, and then now that you're doubting yourself. So whenever you're in that moment of inspiration, to me, that is your vision. And once you start listening to other stuff, that is when your vision becomes tainted. Because instead of acting on your vision, you now got distracted, you now got discouraged in doing your vision, because you're thinking about how somebody else did their vision. And so when this is why we want to make your mindset stronger, because then when you have those urges, you'll act on them instead of saying, no, I can't do it. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So we want to watch our inputs, watch what we consume. We don't want to overconsume. We want to find people who do the things that we want to do. And, you know, we want to find inspiration from them, but we don't want to take everything they have verbatim. And then we want to mix that with the voice that we have in ourselves that's telling us, hey, this is the vision for us. This is what we want to do. This is where we want to go. This is what we want to see. Does that make sense what I'm saying? This is how we want to get there. But you have to filter it through yourself. You take ideas from everywhere else. You leave the negative stuff. Take the positive stuff that you need right now. You filter it through your mind and through your heart about who you want to be. And then that's when you put it into action, right? So that's how you improve. And here's the bonus. Just get the reps in. Adjust what failure looks like. Look at it in the long-term view. The inspiration before the doubt. So like I was saying, the inspiration before the doubt. You know, that moment that you have a vision, like, man, okay, that thing that lights you up, it's like, oh man, I do want to try this. It's trying that. It's having the mindset, building the mindset, improving your mindset to the point where you're acting on that inspiration before that doubt of I can't do it comes. When your mindset is stronger, that I feel like that space between the inspiration and the doubt becomes bigger, because now, oh, I do believe that I can do it. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that it's possible. I have seen other creators create something and it is possible, and I know that I can do it for me, and it doesn't have to be exactly like them. It doesn't need to be exactly like them. It needs to be the way it needs to be for me, right? And so that's what we want to do. And you just got to get the reps in. The most important thing is getting the reps in. Like, look at this video. If you made it to this video, just drop a thumbs up in the chat, in the comments for me. I appreciate it. But if you made it this far in the video, look at this video. This is shot on my iPhone. I got my AirPod in. You don't even need your AirPod in. I got my AirPod in because somewhere in my mind, I feel like it's going to make it sound better. I doubt it, but I have my AirPod in and I'm talking to the camera. The last 10 videos I've done is the same way. The next 10 videos I'll do is probably going to be the same way. So it's just starting, man. And even if you're not ready to press live yet, just recording the videos before you put them out. You know, but acting on that idea before the doubt comes in that, hey, man, you can't do it. And one way that I do it is getting the reps in. Is I simplify it as much as possible. Most of my videos on this page are not edited because I'm not a great editor. I'm not going to say I'm not a great editor, but I'll spend too much time trying to edit and less time creating the videos. So it's like if I watch podcasts of people who don't do a lot of editing. And I'm like, okay, well, if I remove that and I simplify it and I get my reps in, I see there are people who do it. So it is possible, but now I can do it in my own way. And if I decide eventually I want to make more edited videos and stuff like that, I can. So get the reps in and adjust what failure looks like. So what I mean by adjust what failure looks like, sometimes if the first video doesn't do what we wanted to do, it's like, oh man, the idea didn't work. You know, but you have to change your view from one video to like 20 videos. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're going to give it 20 videos and we're going to see how we feel it in the 20 videos. We're going to give it 30 videos of trying it this way and we're going to see how we feel at the end of the 30. Because then you got to have an accurate assessment. If you just do one video, you don't know if you didn't get that one video enough time to be viewed. You don't know if, you know, it's the idea that's bad or it's your execution that's bad. You don't know if maybe it's just that one topic of that video wasn't great. You don't know because you haven't given yourself enough time to accurately decide if that's what it is. You know, if you're baking, if you're a chef, you're going to make one cake and be like, nah, I suck at being a chef. No, you're going to try different recipes. And then over time, you know, after you do a few recipes, you can be like, okay, like maybe I like doing this, maybe I don't like doing this, maybe I like doing something else. You know, literally all the videos that I post on here are ideas that I just wanted to try. And then if I don't like it or I decide I don't want to do that no more, then I'll do something else. You know what I'm saying? So get the reps in, clear out the noise, watch what you listen to. Don't let what you consume will consume you. Watch your input, your output. Find people who do what you do or what you want to do, but don't over consume them, because the idea is to help inspire you. It's to help you see that something's possible, but you don't have to do it exactly the way that they do it. And then listen to yourself, because that's where the true inspiration is going to come from. That's why I feel like the true answers for what you're looking for is going to come from. And then just get the reps in, man, day by day. You know, when you're trying ideas that you actually want to do, I feel like it's going to make it that much easier. And when you get the reps in, you'll be able to look at things over a long-term view, because boom, I cranked out 20 videos like this. I decided that I don't want to do that no more. Now I'm going to try another 20 this way, you know, and then we can critique. And 1% better every day is what they say. So sometimes it's just like, I actually took my time to script. That's 1% better. You know, whether this video is going to do whatever, I don't know. Took my time to script today. You know, write it out. I wanted to go a little slower. I wrote more things because I wanted to talk a little more. It was going to be a little longer, you know. So these are things you have to think about. That's what 1% better looks like. It doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, my thumbnail got to be perfect, this got to be perfect, this, before I post. Nah, you just got to post it. And you can add all those pieces as time goes on. So that's all I got, man. Mindset, why it's important, how to improve it. Have a good day. Peace.